はい。皆さん、こんにちは。ジョーです。今日はですね、また以前も来ていただいたんですけれども、ジャンボテクノロジーズですね、ジェームスさん CEO に来ていただきました。この撮影は21日にしていて、次の日ですね、TGE をするということで、できるだけ早くこの動画をお届けしたいと思うんですが、今日はですね、ジャンボの今後のですね、いろんな大きな発表とかがあったりとか、あとは TGE に関連したものがあるので、そういったところをですね、ぜひ皆さんに聞いていただければと思います。Okay, James, thank you again for coming to my channel. I'm pretty excited about having you, and also now we're looking for the TG of Jambo, and I know that big announcement is coming for all of us, and looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. No, appreciate having you back on this channel. Really love the viewers, love the comments. Even last time we did it, many months ago. So last year, so super excited to share. Let me know what the best format is. Should I give like a refresher on myself, Jambo, before getting into new developments, etc.?
Yes, sounds great. Let's just start with the introduction again.
Perfect. Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm James, co-founder of Jambo. Ethnically Chinese, grew up in Central Africa, and family's been there 3 generations. Ended up in New York, studied computer science, and ran a crypto fund for 4 years from like 2017. And then finally, when I was 26, I was like cross-border payments, remittances, banking and banked a big part of why I got into the industry. And if you realize, not Africa, LATAM, Southeast Asia, but any emerging market begins and ends with mobile infrastructure because they skip PC. So that's how we started Jambo, essentially solve some of these problems, but decentralize the hardware stack so we can actually onboard the next millions of users to crypto. In 2024, we launched our first product, the Jambo Phone. We did a bit over 700,000 units in sales, created over 8 million wallets to over 100 countries. Super excited to get into how we use phone as a go-to-market strategy, and a big part of the Jambo vision.
Thank you. And I think we kind of want to straight to the TGE, but I think what we kind of have to know is that how we can change this Jambo phone, change the world, right? And how's the recent developments so far? I think a lot of my audience know about what Jambo is, the concept vision is like that, but we want to get those updates for the recent stuff.
For sure. So I'll just start at the top and then go into like what we've been doing lately, right? So at the end of the day, if you just take one line away from what Jambo does, is to address the choke point of crypto: onboarding and accessibility. Now, if you think about it, hardware is the main stack too. You have to decentralize in order to get users to be able to hop on into an ecosystem and already be able to sort of feel at home and onboard them versus, hey, go on chain, do XYZ, then you have to switch over to that chain, even when you're depositing into Hyperliquid, something like this, which I love. But for us, we're trying to make things as easy as possible for adoption. Now, as of today, we're probably one of the largest existing hardware network within DePIN for crypto. Within the Jambo network of phones, there's probably around 38 million gigabytes of storage availability and over 600,000 compute nodes. Now, if you start and build this foundational infrastructure to handle data storage, compute, and communication, you can essentially plug in various partners into your ecosystem because you're already cyber resistant and they can access that user base of yours, right? Even right now, when we're working with some campaigns leading into our TGE, which we'll get into, you see hundreds of thousands of submissions per every thing that we're sort of doing. And these are not, and the exchanges themselves are very surprised. They're like, wow, these are not the usual base of farmers or airdrop farmers or on-chain guys that we usually see in various TGEs coming on board. This is actually, wow, huge data from Brazil, our largest market right now, huge data from Argentina, right? We work with over 30 to 50 KOLs in Brazil. And right over there, one of the hugest is YouTube and Instagram. So that's how we advertise in Portuguese, and that's how our community is. Versus in Africa, where I'm from, we're largest in Nigeria, Kenya. So a lot of that is English, WhatsApp, and different other groups. So I'll say for Jambo, as of today, what we're really proud of is the community that we have built. That we can honestly plug in more and more Web3 partners that we're super bullish on into the ecosystem. Now that came in the form of a phone pre-installed with 20 applications previously, right? Where you come into the phone, hey, one of that 20 apps is Jambo app. It's your multi-chain wallet that supports over 13 chains. And it's your questing platform that tells you how to spend time in the other 19 apps to earn tokens that we then provide you on-off ramps for in over 100 countries. Now, even just to get into that for a second, stable coins has honestly been a huge focus for Jambo. as well, where we realized like even in 2023 bear market, Argentina, a few of our developers are like, hey, we want only USDT. We don't want local currency. We don't want anything else. It just goes to show that like the crypto adoption use case around the world right now, honestly, is like super strong, whether from inflation hedges, whether from countries like El Salvador creating entire reserves, not of gold, but of Bitcoin now, or however else they're onboarding. But it's not like, I want to clarify for everyone, Jambo coming into these countries and saying, hey, you're not in Web3. Let me show you how to use Web3. You have to buy our phone and come in. Nah, it's more like we're coming in and there's already pre-existing communities of a lot of users that are using crypto. They're just not using the products that you're used to using or the products that you see your friends using. So that's how we're bridging them into the more global crypto ecosystem.
I see. And now, finally, we come into the TGE. How are you feeling generally?
Yes, sir. I don't know, man. Like as a founder, you build, right? There's two business lines. The first is like if you're a traditional Web2 business as a phone, what do? You have your supply chain. Took us over a year to knock out our 3 factories in Asia that we can now handle hundreds of thousands of phones, production, sales without lag, right? Usually for hardware devices, you need months of pre-ordering. And the second is to have a global distribution network around the world, over 100 countries. That's in itself is a like very sort of long process. You have to have some other connections to make it happen. Selling phones, hardware. Now, on the other hand of the business, there you raise a cap table of amazing investors, but in the future, when you have to launch your token, you don't know who's buying into your company. You have to make sure you reward your early community who holds it. So it's a very nerve-wracking thing when you come to TGE because that second component is coming to life. And honestly, a large part of your fate is in the hands of exchanges because only through these exchanges can you distribute your token, which is the back end of your flywheel to all of your users. So it's been a very interesting process. Happy to share more, but definitely very happy. It's very soon.
Sounds great. For the users, what is going to be the change after and before the TGE with this token?
Yep. So first, I'll put question on everyone's mind. Is there an airdrop? So legally, right? I've checked exactly what I can say with the legal team. This is what I can say. If you have a Jambo phone, whether 1 or 2, just go do 1 quest within the phone. Connect your IMEI and do 1 quest. If you don't have a phone, you can literally, it takes 30 to 45 days shipping. And still, when you hear this podcast, you can still get it, do a quest, and you might still be earning something on that sense. So I'll put this out there first. Now, around the J token, our tokenomics dropped this week. Very excited. Between the seed and Series A, we've raised around $40 million, led by Paradigm, Coinbase is our first investor, Pantera, et cetera. And all of it, our value accrues to our token. So super excited to roll out the tokenomics, show our users whether you interact in the J ecosystem as a whole or within the Jambo phone or even in the Jambo app without the phone. It's an integral part, whether for fees, whether for using and tapping into our infra. Now, on the second part, I would really want to share as well is Jambo, if you think about what we've done for the last 3 years, is decentralize and censorship resist hardware, right? Like we are all about being censorship resistant. Hardware to start, full stack. And the second part is obviously connectivity, because even though you have the hardware, you still need to rely on telcos built in the traditional world, finance, to get onto the internet. Well, finally, it's rightfully so because these telcos in emerging markets mostly built those infrastructure for the actual internet basis. But now, very happy to share here as well with the users that we are actually launching our Jambo satellite program this year. And we're going to send a satellite into space and connect all Jambo hardware devices out there today. And you can tap in and have internet connectivity across the world, being censorship resistant to that.
Wow. Is a satellite service is somewhat related to the token or?
Yes. So obviously using the satellite service, the low hanging fruit is, hey, you need Jambo tokens, J tokens to access the satellite. But when it gets more interesting is when you can actually use your connection on your phone to now start doing various compute tasks and various other tasks. Put your phone to work 24/7. You don't need to pay internet fees. Just charge it up. And it acts as a very sort of self-mining device in that way for some of our partners. So we'll also share the rollout on that. But the J token definitely comes in more interesting than just, hey, you get internet access.
Wow. Is there any other utilities of J tokens?
Yes, sir. So there's 2 parts, right? We like to group it at Jambo. The first is on-chain. The second is off-chain. Now, the on-chain, everyone can imagine a bit easier, because this is most crypto companies are fully on chain, right? Whether from the token burns, token sinks, very stuff. We had like 80 something revisions with the investors for getting our tokenomics out. Can check that out. Now, for the off-chain stuff is what really excites me a lot as well, because being ethnically Chinese Asian, you grow up around super apps, right? You start off with messaging on WeChat, but then now you pay your electricity bills, entire social credit, your banking, you can get loans, microloans, you buy air flight tickets, all in that ecosystem. So for us, as you see our digital footprint across the world, very offline and online, we want to offer a lot other services to our users beyond just fully on-chain services.
I see. And I think you've been showing us a lot of partnerships, but even after the TGE, or even more partnership after TGE coming along with those partnership announcement. Is there any other announcement coming up soon? Something that you can share?
Okay. I'll put it this way then. So when you think of Jambo, right? And we're launching on Solana, you might be like, oh, Jambo launching on Solana. They have a phone called the Saga. Now the new one's a Seeker, right? And if everyone remembers, after the Saga came out, a big announcement made to show that it's not just a phone that costs $1,000, 2023 August, but it's a platform, is that one company airdropped their tokens from the Solana ecosystem to the Saga phone and made everyone very rewarding to own it and to have that platform. And even today, when you pre-order the Seeker, right, you get so many different airdrops before you even get the phone in a few months. So similarly, Jambo will have a few of these types of partnership announcements, with one very, very big one right after our TGE that will show that the platform play, because we are right now 13 different chains. So there's actually a lot more partners that will be working in that sense with us.
I see. And then I think in the future, you guys are going to have Jambo Phone 3, 4, 5, and so on. And now we have so far 1 and 2. So when we renew the phones, all the past history of the usage and all the data is going to be passed on to the newer version based on the ID or something like that? Or how does it work?
Yep. So I can only speak on what's happened so far, Jambo Phone 1 and 2. But basically, number one is your account, right? Your actual Jambo account, your email. Make sure you have those details safe for, it's essentially, that's you, right? That's cyber resistance. This is your phone. We connect iMail, but then also, okay, this is the account and we see how active it is. This is also how we track many other metrics to offer more services. Now, in terms of rewarding users, if they started with the Jambo Phone 1, hey, then they also own the 2. Most definitely, that's something that we as a company track. It's sort of like seasons when you see airdrops and other things done on chain. For us, it's in the form of various products that are coming out.
I see. And you briefly mentioned about Solana and potentially other ecosystem. Is your phone compatible with other or all the other chains, or what's your plans?
Yep, for sure. So our Jambo wallet supports over 13 chains now. This is why we have partnership announcements with Aptos, with Say, with Injective. We pre-install some of their wallets like Petra, like Ninja, and we can provide access for our users to come into those wallets, do on-chain activities, have a place to store those tokens when they enter that ecosystem of those L1s. Now, that being said, our token is launching on Solana, and all payment rails and tokens that we use are all through Solana. And this is not only because of the speed, the efficiency, and the bandwidth, and just how easy it is. It's more important that we feel Solana around the world in many of the markets that we're in. And I'm not saying this like in most of the crypto markets. I'm talking like even in Argentina, Brazil, they've won the consumer chain. And when I say that, take it obviously with a grain of salt. This is a founder that's launching a token on this chain. But you just see not only the KOLs in Web3, but also local influencers. For example, if you're a YouTube channel in Brazil, you might be covering Tesla, right? Hey, Tesla stock do XYZ, but then you're also covering a cryptocurrency. And Solana is that choice crypto, not only for liquidity, but also the brand awareness. It's sort of like how you look at 90% plus of stable coins around the world are all transacted USDT on Tron, right? And you barely see Tron like just branding themselves like, hey, we are the emerging market stablecoin. It's because they have first mover advantage. And they just provide a very easy service. It's cheaper than everything else on TRX, et cetera. So similarly for Solana, we see that, it might not be the straight first mover advantage because probably a lot of other companies younger than Solana have tried, but we just see them win the consumer chain. So that's a big part of how we brand ourselves in the phone using Solana and Tether.
I see. And now you have I think, pre-installed app of like 20 apps.
Yeah.
Is it revolving? I mean, the changing like over time? Or how do you choose those 20 apps?
Great question. So yes, it's changing. And I'm going to say it like this. The last thing Jambo team wants to do is like play the curator, right? Play God. Like, hey, you have to use these apps, or hey, you have to use these apps. And there's certain restrictions as well, say, of what apps you can put in. For example, we have a big partnership with Coinbase. Even though we're an Android operating system, so you can use the phone regularly, download any from Google Play, etc. We also have a dApp store of base, the apps, and other things. But we cannot pre-install Coinbase Exchange, where we can pre-install Coinbase Wallet for regulation because we ship to over 100 countries. So that's one, like what we're restricted to, so actually can do. Now, how we genuinely choose is genuinely what we think are great products, and we establish partnerships with them. So even if tomorrow I'm like, for example, the Tensor team, right? We love the Tensor team. They have a new app called the Vector app, trading app. Amazing. Volume has been crazy. I wanted to pre-install them just off the bat without even talking to the Richard or Ilmoy, because I'm like, wow, this is so easy to use, etc. But then I just reached out. I was like, hey, bro, like, we'd love to chat. I think this would be great for a lot of our retail, consumers, and they were very supportive. We struck a partnership. Shortly, I actually can't talk about too much yet. It's coming on the next version, but now you can, use a Vector app, and it's one of the probably the hottest apps. Aligns with Solana, aligns with meme coins, aligns with what people want to spend time on. And we had to delete, like, say, a game, right, that was super popular previously, dropped down in a lot of numbers, and we can see might be time to switch some things out. So we're constantly monitoring data and trying to put what the best apps are. But there is no, hey, Jambo, I'll pay you this much money. You have to pre-install my app, because I would be doing all of us a disservice, a lose in the sense that for our users, they wouldn't be interested. They're not spending time on that. For Jambo, because of that, we're not creating as much on-chain transactions in our platform, which is inside the phone, inside the wallet. And for the company, even if you're providing rewards for users, they're not interested, nothing's being done. So we really want things that are very interesting to be pre-installed.
I see. That's pretty interesting. So yeah, I saw a lot of partnerships and more coming in. So I think based on that too, it's going to change, right?
Yes, sir. No, appreciate it. I think the industry as a whole right now, like, liquidity is there, everything is happening. But I like to think of it like two different sides. This is one side where we think of like the straight crypto native, pre-installs, et cetera. And the other side is, how do we actually try to solve more problems in these markets using their phones, so we can attract even new users to come in, not just to, hey, try Vector, because they're probably already in crypto if they're trying Vector, versus they're probably coming into, hey, I can use Jambo wallet as an exchange now, because even if I download another non-custodial wallet, I still don't have a credit system. So I can't access the global financial center, because like your phone number is like your ENS domain, it's just your life, basically your credit. For us though, inside the phone, we start building a credit profile of our users. And even for the Jambo app, there's a lot of, I don't want to put KYC, but like certain times when you want to on-ramp, off-ramp, or do certain things, because we work with a lot of third-party providers, in these local markets, to be able to have on and off-ramps, we have a lot of their data. So then we actually are starting to build your credit profile and your data for you. Yeah.
I see. And I think your app or your product is one of the few, I think, products, I don't know if I should say this, but people use even after the TGE. This is an incredible positioning, and also the product concept. And also, how do you feel about the demand from not just the user base for the phone, but from the ecosystem?
Yep. I think there's two types of people that are buying our phones right now, and it's about 80-20. 80% is orders of like 1 to 2 phones in markets around the world, some that might not be crypto native trading top countries like Mexico or like even Cameroon. Those, I think, are like real users that might not even have been in crypto, but went to our website, learned about Jambo, getting the phone, now coming into it. The second type is like, you see 100 orders of the phone to Tokyo, or 100 orders of the phone to Seoul. And that might not be, and you see like maybe 2 of the INA codes are connected to the phone, to the wallet, and the rest haven't been unboxed. Like those might be more farmers or more guys that are, more Web3 native, trying to use the phone in that sense. Yeah, so I think for us, it's, I also agree. And, I don't want to throw shade on other like fully on-chain projects where people don't use the project as much post TGE, but that's just a lot of the way their incentives are set up. And it has to be set up like that because you only get one chance to TGE, right? You get one chance to make a bang. Then the difference in how Jambo is set up is even you look at our team, our investors vesting, it's like many, many years. There is no like, quick, hey, we're out of here, like let's respond in 3 months type situation. It's constantly like we have our customer service team, right? We need handling customer service around the world. And then we have, on the token side, make sure we reward our community because the best marketing you can have is a token that's up only, helping users make money, like hyper liquid first 3 weeks, best marketing. And then obviously it's how do you give your core community that loyalty? Like, hey, be attached to Jay, be attached to the brand, believe in the vision, because even if the vision's amazing, your thesis can be right, but the timing can be wrong. Like, oh, I'm a whole J for the whole year. Damn, there's no satellite. There's no use cases for me. It didn't go high up as much as some of the other tokens. I understand that, right? As a founder in crypto, like, you obviously understand the market, right? With BTC above 100K, with what we're seeing right now, I feel like it's really a situation where you can reward your users for sticking out with you through the entire bear market when we're launching our products.
I see. And I remember you told us you don't really make money out of the phone production, but you think you're going to be sustainable after the launch or even now? Yeah.
Great question. One word I'd say is scale. Now, a few 100,000 phones, if you put this to like a traditional phone company, they'll laugh at the numbers because for them, that's all they look at, right? Just phone sales numbers. But for us, this is actually a certain number of scale where we've been able to triple the specs of the Jambo Phone 2 from the Jambo Phone 1. And we've been able to add a lot more components. Now, the only reason a $99 phone from Jambo, if you look at this true specs and you put it, because if you go up in most of these markets, like $120 is an Oppo Vivo, $130 is a Huawei, $140 is a Samsung's cheapest version. So at $99, there's really not a lot of phones at that price range that have our specs. And the reason is because we break even and we don't take any profit as a company. Because honestly, our power comes from distribution. The more phones we get out there, the more network effects we have. So out the factory is $69. To get it to you, though, we have shipping, customs tax, sales tax, and our distributors obviously have a cut. They don't work for free. So with all that together, we still try to get the phone out to $99. And in the future, we'll most likely be on a similar sort of frames. Now, if in the future we decide to do like a crazy high power spec thing, it's not out the question. It's not like we only have access to factories and to components that are making more affordable. But I think it's just the direction so the company to take. And I hope that it will be self-sustaining because we're expecting a lot more orders this year. And even just from the TGE marketing, we've seen a lot more. So the last thing we want is to be backed up and put out a tweet like, hey, you have to wait 3 months for you to get your phone.
I see. One more thing I want to kind of dig into is satellite stuff. I don't know how much it costs. And so first question is, how can you make it possible?
Yes, sir.
This plan.
Yes. So like, I feel like for satellites, there's two, right? It's like, how are you doing this? And then why are you doing this, right? So I'll share so Jambo's satellite program, it's honestly going to be a network of low orbit satellites designed honestly to provide data access and connectivity. So low orbit satellites, you can do it in many formats. There's first party and third party, where third party, you can work with other providers. You don't have to send the satellite up yourself. You're like, hey, let me get connectivity from your satellite and you can still power and do a lot of what you'd want to do. But, if you know the Jambo team, we like to own the full stack and don't be censored by anyone. So we're doing the other option of first party where there's still a company that you need to work with. And the CEO is on TV currently, very busy, because of the thing. His name is Elon. So hopefully we do big things with them. But yeah, that's a bit of the how. It's not like the craziest, obviously, for the amount of capital you have to put up, the amount of detail you have to do, and programs and other, you don't even know that you have to email and make sure things are good. We've been doing this for a few months and still feel like this is very, very has to go according to our roadmap, which we're announcing. And it's not like hey, we launch it next month type situation. It's a multi-month program. But at the end of the day, it's making sure that you have the investors of funding, you have the team that can execute on this. And you definitely have experts that have given you a lot of advice on ways to not get scammed when you're launching a satellite into space. Not really like launching a phone. You can't just go to a factory and say, hey, I need a satellite for this price and to launch in this market. But yeah, so 3P strategy, 1P strategy. Trying to think of, is there anything else? I'll stop right there first. Yeah, because we have a very detailed Jambo satellite program, literally, that you can go on our website on Jambo Technology and then see as well.
Sounds great. We're so much looking forward to this launch. And also, oh yeah, by the way, do you work with the specific communities that you kind of give incentives? Because I saw MATLAB's, specific airdrops. Or why did you work with the MATLABs or specific communities?
For sure. So there's sort of three, I guess, airdrop buckets that you can put that Jambo is really focused on. Number one is directly to our users, and that's straight to your Jambo wallet, right? We have the platform directly to you. You don't even need to go claim anything, things like that. Boom. Second is with an exchange, where with their UID, if you have that exchange account, and then with your Jambo wallet ID, you can also get an airdrop. And the third that we really value, as well as the Solana community, is where the chain that we are launching on. And I think Solana is a chain that rewards founders that are very loyal and not sort of like going, hey, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna come here. Like, there's an ethos. So I just thought the MATLABs community, I know a bunch of people from there. I've seen its growth. Armani, I'm a big fan of. You look at what they're doing, even with Backpack right now. Acquiring EU FTX licensing, et cetera, pretty insane. So I was like, it's a no-brainer if there's a community to be working with, very high sort of signal as well, selfishly for myself, for Jambo, it's probably MATLABs. And it was a very easy process working with their team. Because sometimes even if you want to make it happen with the community, like if you want to work with Ethereum, right? Like Ethereum Foundation won't even reply to you. So like, it's not like every community has a business-minded people that are just there. Like, not saying they aren't, but they're there like, hey, let's make these things happen and execute in these steps, like a proper process. So it was really appreciated to MATLABs squad team.
Sounds good. And can you give us the final statement or word?
The final word is, okay, so I don't know when this is going to be released, but hopefully when it's released, the J token is already trading. All I can say is, beyond the regular staking yield opportunities for owning the token and having places to do that, there's going to be a lot more benefits that come to holding J, both online, offline, and to the most basic needs of connectivity. So please stay tuned. And if you don't have a phone, Jambo.technology. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time, despite your business schedule. And now you're, I think, syncing up with your team and get ready for the TGE. I'm looking for the next hour meetups and hear more exciting things from you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.